everyone, welcome back to the LTM show. We're your hosts, Daniel and Alex, as usual. Unfortunately, Ivan can't be with us this week. Hopefully he's with us next time. But, Alex, we have just had a massive weekend of motorsport, especially you, my friend. You've got the gear. What's your thoughts?
Mate, what a weekend. We had F1, Supercars, MotoGP, NASCAR, a few other ones that we can't even fit into our show because there's just so much happening. It was just the best weekend. For me, personally, I went on to the Grand Prix on the Friday, which ended up being the best decision because Saturday was like 37 degrees, and, well, Sunday was literally a water slide. Yeah, so I'm very happy with my choice. And, got a new Ferrari shirt. Couldn't justify the $120 price tag of a Lewis Hamilton hat, though. So I've let that one go and slide. But I did get a massive flag, which you guys will see one day.
And it looks really good for just to get people excited.
Tease, yeah.
But yeah, it was a fantastic weekend of motorsport. We had F1, Supercars as well that raced as well. A few opinion pieces I want to get into soon. But overall, what do you think of the weekend's racing?
It depends which category you're talking about, because not many did race on the Sunday. Well, not everyone did, should I say. MotoGP was a bit of a snooze fest, and overall, F1 was chaotic, then boring, then chaotic again. Supercars was wild when they raced, except for the third race, that was boring. And then NASCAR just put on a show again. A lot of tyre failures, which I'll get into later.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of Supercars, no, we'll gloss over that. I was going to talk about race 7, that didn't happen. But we'll talk about that when we get into the Supercar segment.
Yeah.
But let's do F1. But before we do that, be sure to, if you do enjoy this episode or if you're new here, first off, hello. We're just two couple dickheads talking about all things motor racing. Feel free to subscribe, follow if you're on Spotify, hit the like, and check out our social media down below. We make all sorts of podcast content, weekly motorsport podcasts, as well as some things here and there. But with that out of the way, let's go straight into our thoughts on the Australian Grand Prix. So, Alex, we had a fantastic weekend. It's great to have Australia back as round 1, the season opener for the Formula 1 World Championship. 6 rookies battled it out for the first time ever. Only 2 survived.
Yes. 6, 5, 4, how many rookies you want to call it? Everyone's got different opinions. But yeah, a lot of first-timers in Formula 1. And it was only... Who survived? It was only...
Kimi Antonelli and Ollie Bannon.
Which is a surprise because he didn't survive any other session. So if you want to talk about survivors for the whole weekend, it was only Kimi.
And what a stunning job that he did.
He started 16th.
And finished 4th. How unreal is that?
Pretty mega.
Amazing. And, we haven't seen an amazing result like that since Max Verstappen. And I can't even remember from memory what his first race result was. So Kimi's first ever race, 4th place, bang on.
I think he did... Look, I'm not going to take it away from his result, but he did get a little bit lucky in terms of just the way that the last safety car happened and when the rain came, and Mercedes' strategy was really good. So Russell got promoted during all that chaos as well to finish on the podium. So a 3rd and a 4th for the Mercedes team is...
Tell you what...
undoubtedly good.
George was in the unknown the whole entire race.
Yeah, he had a
we didn't see anything of him.
No,
he was just minding his own business, and he moved up the field just like that.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, Kimi did get lucky, but he also had some ballsy moments where he almost lost it, like Jack Doohan did on lap 1. He actually spun after passing Hulkenberg, only to pass him again afterwards. So he had a few pretty standout moments, to be honest. But if it wasn't for the things that happened in front of him, like for example the McLarens, he might not finish there.
You know what? This is going to be a long podcast, by the way, for everyone listening.
So sit down.
Heads
Get
up.
popcorn.
Get some popcorn. Maybe even get some lunch and dinner. It could be that long. Anyway.
Or breakfast.
Or breakfast, yeah. I want to quickly chat about Sunday.
Call your loved ones.
Yeah.
Tell them you won't be here for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Call in sick to work.
Yeah.
I want to really chat about Sunday and the way the day... So I was here in Melbourne, obviously, and it rained pretty much the whole day. I was out for lunch, and so I'm near enough to the track where I could hear action going on, and there was little to nothing. The only times I heard cars were going around, then I checked the KO app, was them trying to restart a race, like F2 and Supercars.
Well, F2 never got started.
No. Well, neither did Supercars.
Actually, no, F3 and Formula 1 was the only one rule.
F3 and F1 was the only races on Sunday, and Porsches didn't have one on Sunday. So I feel for the people who did go to the Grand Prix up until 3 o'clock when it started. But I was getting a little bit worried because I don't think they handled the Supercar one all that well, which we'll talk about later. F2 was just whitewash. They just copped the worst rain throughout the whole day. That was never going to happen. And then I was really worried about Formula 1. I was like, you know what? F1, they obviously can't cancel this thing. They had a 4-hour time slot to play with. But it didn't, besides the little showers they had during the race, it actually didn't rain during the race.
It was fairly calm.
It was calm. And F1 putting out their performances on time, on schedule was great. However, I think they should have started the race under SC. I know the spectacle of I hate rolling starts, but I know the only reason I'm saying this is because we lost 3 cars, 1 before the start on the formation lap, 2 on the first lap of the race. Yeah. Right? I mean, obviously mistakes happen, this and that happens, but they were all caused by not driver error. Let's be honest. It was literally just on the throttle, yeet, and around she went. So I think they should have just done even just one lap, 1 or 2 laps, because after that safety car period for the cleanup for these cars, the track was so much drier and it was so much safer, and we saw so much more action. Obviously, crashing is action, but you don't want to see cars get destroyed purely like Williams. We're going to have a really good day. They still did, but they could have had an even better day if Carlos Sainz was in the race. Yeah,
that was a weird moment from Carlos.
It was so weird.
It was just weird as anything. But Alex did really well. Made up for it. Finished ahead of both Ferraris, which
look, the drive
tragically.
Everyone who finished did an unbelievable job. Every driver, even getting in the field, did an unbelievable job. Obviously, we know Lando Norris won. We haven't even said that yet, but Lando Norris was the victor ahead of Max Verstappen and George Russell. I will say I underestimated Lando. We did our predictions post before the race, and you did predict Lando.
I got it right.
However, I just remember all the moments that they've had in the past where as soon as the rain comes, he just crumbles. But Sunday that didn't happen, which is great. I actually predicted Max to win, and he came close in second. But as we roll down the field here, we talked about Williams, talked about Mercedes. Actually, in 6th place was Lance Stroll, who, like George Russell, just stayed out of the way of everything and just got lucky.
He got lucky. He got really lucky there.
He did get a bit lucky. Look, everyone kind of did with what happened with that rain shower that destroyed the whole track in about 3 laps. It ruined Piastri's race. I really want to actually ask you a question of why did all those teams, because it was literally everybody, pit for dries 5 laps before the rain came?
Well, I guess in their defense, it's the sort of, they were expecting 1 lap of rain. I guess they just weren't expecting the amount of rain that we got for the amount of time that we got. I guess it's just a bit like that. Like it's Melbourne.
Well, that's the only answer that I'm willing to accept, Because it seems stupid at the time, but if you say that, that's probably true.
Yeah, because the thing is, right, at that point they were expecting one lap, right?
Yeah.
There could have been a chance where nothing was going to happen.
True.
It could have just dodged the track, you know, because there was talks about the rain going around the track, not on the track directly. Obviously, we know it did go on the track, but there were some talks amongst the teams saying we might just miss the rain.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a really tricky thing.
Agreed.
Very tricky.
Yeah, well, it destroyed a couple races. It destroyed, obviously, Piastri went off, did some tractor driving. Did you see what
amazing recovery, though? I did.
Yeah,
Jeremy went to Clarkson's farm. Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go.
Well, even Brundle said he's got a reverse, like a front-wheel drive. Go on.
Also, I've heard a rumor. This is unrelated to F1, but there is a show potentially being in the works at the moment called the Not Very Grand Tour.
Ah.
With the trio again. I don't know. I just saw a couple things on TikTok. Don't at me if it's not true. I just think it's really cool if it is. But no, there you go. But yeah, amazing recovery from Oscar. He was literally 14th. He was a lap down when that all happened as well after that. So to get 9th, to get a couple points is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Obviously, he could have won. Straight up, he could have won. That could have been his race to win, unfortunately. But I am going to lock this in. He is definitely a world champion contender this year, and I'm going to lock that in. Because remember what I said in the group chat? Yeah, what I said in the group chat, I think the last couple of years now, whoever wins the opening round doesn't go and win the championship. So I am locking it in that Oscar Piastri will win the title.
Hang on, hasn't Max won the first race for the last many years?
No. I'll follow that. Maybe he did, but I'm locking that in.
He definitely won last year's.
Hang on.
Bahrain.
One.
I keep going through the field.
You keep talking.
So I want to talk about next the demise of the team that I'm wearing, which for those listening, not watching, is the Ferrari team. Yeah. Look, it was always going to be an interesting debut for Lewis and his new team.
Yeah.
And for Charles as well. There's rumours going around in qualifying. They qualified 7th and 8th, which is not... Like, they were behind an RB and a Williams and a Mercedes.
They didn't really have the car this weekend to contend.
No.
They got in a lucky opportunity with a double podium, but then they blew it themselves. So.
Yeah. Yep. No doubt in that at all. But there was a bit of how do you call it? I'd say like argy-bargy was the first word that came to mind. I don't know why, but between
I love that word.
Lewis and his new engineer, who was the engineer for Carlos and Vettel over the years, Hamilton kind of brushed off. He didn't brush off everything that he was saying, but kind of just said, "Look, leave me to be." And I don't think he was being rude. I don't think he was ignoring what they were saying. I just think he wanted to have the opportunity to learn about his new car and learn about what it can do and can't do and play around with settings and whatnot. And look, the race wasn't all that good from the very beginning. Charles kind of bullied him into some passes. Like, Hamilton could have been 5th by turn 2, but he wasn't. He was 8th still. And Leclerc made the most of the opportunities during the race. Hamilton was stuck behind Albon for a good, 25, 30 laps, you reckon?
Yeah, about that.
It was a long time. And, it just wasn't their day. So, if you found your stat to be wrong or right?
It is right and wrong at the same time.
Right.
So, it's been a curse since 2017, right?
Right.
So, round 1, 2017, Sebastian Vettel. 2018, Vettel. 2019, Bottas. 2020, Bottas. 21 was Hamilton, right?
Yeah, okay.
22 was Leclerc. Only in 2023 was it broken. Max Verstappen, Bahrain. But since then, it's gone sort of back to.
What about last year?
I don't know. It's still Max Verstappen. So this time, I was right and wrong. It's just Max ruined it.
So who won the first round last year?
Max did. So Max broke the curse, but there was a curse since Rosberg left.
Yeah, okay.
So,
fair enough.
There you go. I was right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of right, you know who did right this weekend? I'm gonna shout him out. Nico Hulkenberg in the Kick Sauber, finished 7th on debut for that team. An outstanding effort. He literally started the race 17th, so he made up 10 positions in the race. You know, the old wise guy, Martin Brundle, on the grid walk said to him, you know, what are you going to do to get up the field today? And he asked for some tips from Martin. And Martin said, keep it on the black stuff. And he did.
He did.
It worked.
He did a really good job.
Very good job. A team that, well, in testing looked like they weren't going to score a point. Shout out, speaking of points, actually, Sauber, with this one result, have outscored them for the whole year last year.
By 2 points.
By 2 points. They got 4 points last year in the whole year, and this year they've already got 6.
Love it.
Unbelievable effort.
Absolutely love it.
And they're 7th in the championship now. Obviously, we won't go through championship standings. They're all the same as the result. Next in line for the results was Pierre Gasly. Alpine had a bit of a weird weekend. They were up, down, in the fence, all sorts. Gasly wasn't really seen on TV too much, I'll be honest. He started 9th, finished 11th, so yeah, he was in the pack. Behind him was, unfortunately, Yuki Tsunoda, who started 5th. One of the best qualifyings of his career. I'm not even sure. It might actually be the best. But he got caught up like Ferrari did. In the rain that took over Albert Park. Yeah, finished 12th. And then 13th, 14th was Ocon and Behrman for Haas. Shout out to Behrman, honestly. He had probably the hardest debut ever. He crashed in FP1.
FP1, he destroyed the rear.
Yep. And then he didn't go up for FP2 because it couldn't get fixed in time.
Yeah.
And then FP3 he spun. No, FP3 he spun.
Oh yeah, at the start.
At the start, that's right. He spun, put it in the gravel, and then qualifying he qualified last.
Yeah, and he pretty much had that one quali session as a practice.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, and then the whole race. So no, credit where credit's due for him persevering is what I'm basically saying. Like the results, not outstanding or anything, but it's a result. He finished, like you said, he was one of the 2 rookies to finish. Speaking of rookies, the next 2, obviously, these all from now on did not finish. We only had 14 drivers to finish. What was your prediction of finishes during?
I did 17. You did 13.
And Ivan said 10.
And 10. So you were closest.
I was closest. Thank you. So we had 14 finishes.
Yeah, because freaking we had 17 when the race started. I was like,
pretty much. Geez, lap 5, 17. You're like, no one can crash.
I was like, I am in the shitter.
Yeah, literally.
I want to talk about Liam Lawson though.
Yeah, go on. DNF.
Because obviously he's better than that.
Oof.
I think he is anyway.
Well, actually,
I reckon something's wrong with that car.
Can I quickly stop you there though? Because you might be right.
Yes.
But you know how he said there's 4, 5, 6 rookies, whatever the number is officially. There was only one Albert Park rookie this weekend, and that was Liam Lawson. Who's never ever driven around Albert Park before. Hardest conditions possible. On debut for one of the top teams. Like, that's a lot of pressure, man. On a guy who's never driven around Albert Park before. Not even F2, F3, nothing. I think the only lap he's ever done was last year in a supercar with James Courtney.
Which is very, very different.
Very different. So yeah, can you continue with your statement about the car being wrong? Because I do agree, there was something wrong with it.
Yeah. So during the practices, it looked incredibly uncomfortable to drive.
Yeah.
It's not used because obviously it's a different car to what Max was running this weekend with with different nose as well, so different aero package. But I saw, I'm going to quote Matt and Tommy, right, the P1 podcast. They were talking about, and they made a really good point. Like they've designed the cars so much to Max's driving standards, it's gotten to a point where it's undrivable for anyone else. And there could well and truly be a curse at that Red Bull team as a second driver. Because obviously with Ricciardo, he was the only one who could take it against Max. Once he left, went to shit.
I don't want to start the conversation of who will replace, being a second seat, but who else can they even put in there? Now, round one. No, I'm not gonna start the conversation because Liam Lawson.
Christian Horner's gonna drive.
Yeah, Liam Lawson was the only person that they believed could actually be good enough for them. So, look, I don't know. I really don't think. Even this case also goes for Jack Doohan, who was another DNF. But this weekend, I'd write it off. The weather was too inconsistent. The track was brand new for these drivers. I think come China, maybe Suzuka would be the first round you'd think, yep, who is in the right seat? Which apparently is Jack Doohan's last race in his contract, pending.
I thought he had 5 race plans.
I thought it was 3. Okay, it might be 5.
Maybe it's one of the 2.
Anyway, speaking of rookies, Gary Bortoletto, who actually got into Q2, which was really impressive. That
was really good, really cool.
Yeah, Kick Sauber was the F2 champion last year, so he was actually having a good race up until his. The crash wasn't actually. I don't think it was actually his fault. I think during commentary, Brundle mentioned that the right wheel was actually looking like it was coming off before he even spun.
Yeah.
Didn't look right.
That was a weird one. It was like it snapped just before he spun.
Yeah, it looked like it broke before he actually spun. So shout out to him. Now I also have written in my notes, I've spelled his name correctly, unlike Albert Park did. During the weekend. They spelt Leclerc. Ridiculous.
Leclerc.
It didn't even have an L.
I think that's how they. Yeah.
I actually had to search up Bortoletto's mistake. Turns out he only has 1 T at the end of his name, not 2. A weird DNF though was actually Alonso.
That was a weird mistake, wasn't
it?
The
most experienced driver having an odd. It didn't even look like an error to me. Like it looked like everyone else's. Just random snap.
Well, it's something that could have happened to Piastri when he ran wide there.
Yeah.
He just got a little bit more lucky, but it's tricky in the conditions. Once you're off, it can really upset the car really easily, and that was the world's longest slide. I gotta say.
Yeah.
That slide lasted for a good while.
It was interesting. Yeah, definitely agree with that. And then obviously the rest of the finished or not non-finishes was Carlos Sainz on the safety car had a spin. Jack Doohan lap 1 caused a safety car. Amazingly, didn't take anyone else out too, by the way.
Yeah. Well, Kimi almost lost it as well around there. But I've got a feel for Jack. He's got probably more pressure than anyone on the grid to perform. Alpine seems like an extremely toxic environment to be at.
Yeah.
And Alpine's boss, Oliver, frickin' whatever his name is, even admitted that they may have created too much noise for him.
You reckon?
About it. Yeah, a little bit. And Flavio, we all know my thoughts on that potato.
Did you hear what Brundle said when he asked Mick Doohan, Jack's father, about all the pressure and what's going on? Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
So I think it was during commentary. Actually, he's like one of the sessions. He was like, "Oh, yeah, went up to Mick and asked him about all the pressure and the speculation about his contract." And he goes, "And just get on with it. I had pressure for 20 years riding a motorcycle. Did you have any words of wisdom? No, just go do your job. Who cares? As we've seen it with Nick de Vries, you have a whole year contract. Doesn't mean anything. You got to still perform 3, 12, 24 race contract. Do it. Anyway, that was just a funny thing. He's like, I don't care. Just go drive. Speaking of non-drivers though, I want to give this guy a hug too, like Anthony Hamilton did, but Isaac Hadjar unfortunately losing control on the warm-up lap at turn 1, 2.
He was embarrassed.
It just goes to show how quick and difficult it was to keep the car on track.
Yeah.
There's literally no words, but Anthony Hamilton in the paddock literally walked up to him, gave him a hug, and walked halfway down the paddock with him.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, well, he's turns out we've discovered over the weekend he's a massive Lewis Hamilton fan. So Anthony, his dad, just making sure the kid was all right after. Yeah, it was a little bit of an embarrassing mistake, but look, it could have happened to anyone.
I gotta say, did you see what Helmut Marko's comments was about it?
Yeah, that was pathetic.
Yeah, I know. I hate the dog.
Yikes.
I really hate him.
He's a bit of a mean person.
And do you know what I laugh? Every time he has an opinion, you just look at his race results: 0 wins, 0 poles, 0 podiums. You know, he when he was in Formula One, he was pathetic. So he can't talk. So sit down.
Fair enough.
But,
you heard it here first.
Yeah, that was just utter shit from Marco. But that just shows how blunt Red Bull is, and you know, it's just it's not a nice environment to be in. But
no.
But it happens to the best of them. We've seen so many people lose control so easily like that, but go on to win championships and stuff. You know, it's opening round. It's okay. You know, there's a race coming this weekend. You know, just push on to this weekend and do a lap.
Yeah, it's a tight turnaround between.
Don't let it. Yeah,
it's a tight turnaround. So he's got a quick chance to redeem himself at the Shanghai Grand Prix, and that literally is this weekend as we're recording this.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that. The cars I'm sure out of Melbourne and on the way there, and I'm really looking forward to this race. Actually, probably more than the Albert Park race after I saw it was rained.
Yeah.
Just because we'll be able to properly see the pace of every car, because I don't quite think we got that over the weekend.
No, not with the rain, but there has been a adjustment to the rules as well for the weekend. The FIA have sort of gone a bit tougher on rear wing flexibility,
right?
As well. I'll just see if I can find some information about that. The FIA is imposing stricter load deflection tests for Formula One rear wings at this weekend's Chinese Grand Prix. As part of the clampdown, teams exploiting aerodynamic elasticity to an undesirable degree. The FIA told teams over the off-season that it would impose stricter load tests for both front and rear wings. So it just reduces all the flex, because you can even see it with the McLaren on board, with the front wing, how it flexes as fast as they go.
Fair enough. I didn't actually notice that, but
didn't you? You could see the wing going that way, and as he slowed down, it sort of had its own DRS.
I remember that happening last year, but I didn't see it this year.
Yeah. It's just another thing this year. I think it's just basically making that less of a thing. If that makes sense. But that's it for Formula One. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about that.
No, I'm all good, mate.
Pretty much nailed it.
Yeah, looking forward to the Chinese Grand Prix.
One thing I am excited for, let's quickly just talk about it. We kind of, even though it was wet is not a word. Even though it was raining and wet, we did get an indication of what to expect this year. We are expecting to see a rivalry between Lando and Oscar this year, with Max behind, and I am very excited for this year for that reason.
Wow.
The rivalry between the two drivers is going to be awesome. Oscar, he was charging this weekend in this race, and even in qualifying where Lando stole it from him by a smidge. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Zach Brown should go and watch, the years of Webber versus Vettel. They should watch the Nico versus Lewis, the Bottas versus Lewis, Max. Well, he didn't really have a good teammate, I guess. But
Max and Ricciardo for Baku, for example.
Maybe, yeah. Go and watch what's happened there, and learn. That's all I'm gonna say, because they've always said we don't have a second driver. We have two number ones. We have to make this work now. This is your own I wouldn't say fault. You know, you want two good drivers in your cars, but they've created something quite unique, which is the sense of two possible world champions, but only one can win. So I think personally they should let them race. They've got the same car, same material, same skills. Whoever wins, wins. Obviously, don't crash. Don't crash, but whoever wins, wins. Don't do the hungry thing. Don't make a mule out of it. Don't make a mess out of it like they did. Well, the thing is, letting them race though in Monza screwed them up. Yeah. So look, you got to interfere sometimes, but mostly let them race.
Well, yeah. I think they have to, because I think they're going to get to a point now where the drivers, because 12 months ago, right, they had no idea that they could win the team's championship, right? They had no idea. They knew they had a decent car, but they didn't know they would have been the championship winners at the end. No. And now, 12 months later, they can do it again, but the drivers also know the fact that they both have what it takes to win the title.
Correct.
Especially Oscar. See, Lando has always been one up on Oscar lately, since he joined. But this year, it's actually really, really level. Maybe even sometimes more that way than that way.
Well, I still personally think that Lando is just a little bit better than Oscar. And I'm only saying that purely based off the level of experience, the years.
Yeah.
That's purely what I'm basing it off. I mean...
Is it his 7th year now?
Yeah.
He joined in 2019. Yeah, so sixth Formula 1 year.
And unfortunately, the point I just made was kind of enhanced by what happened on the weekend. They both went off the track at the same point. Yeah, the weather came, but Lando controlled himself a little bit better than obviously what Oscar did. And I still think Lando's just a bit better than Oscar, but I think over short periods of time, maybe Oscar's better.
Yeah, I'm still going to lock Oscar in, because I'm going to back him. But I'm just straight up excited for the battle that we're going to have this year.
It's going to be wild.
It's going to be epic. And like compared to last time we saw a battle before the regulations changed, was Hamilton and Verstappen.
Yeah.
And we all know how that went. So I'm excited for this year. Now let's quickly dive over Supercars. Overall, really good weekend. We saw some brilliant racing in the first race, and unfortunately it sort of died down each race. Like this, race 4 was just chaotic on the Thursday. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, by the way, first of all, I can't stand how Supercars do their racing numbers, because I don't know, it just bothers me. You said race 4, they didn't do race 4 in my head, but race 4 of the season. That just bothers me. That's just my own OCD. Anyway, race 1 of the weekend.
Let's do it like that. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Race 1 of the weekend was unbelievable. That race had literally everything. Unless you're at the front of the field, where it got a little bit boring. But I'd say...
It was a conga line.
Yeah, a little bit. The top 3 just took off and left everyone behind. But from 4th place down, holy cow.
It was nuts. And Ryan Wood...
I think you needed like 6 screens to watch this race. There was battles everywhere.
Yeah.
Ryan Wood.
Exactly. Yeah, he climbed up the... he was... the center of the chaos, and Cam Waters P6 from the back of the grid.
That was insane. That was nuts.
That was insane. That was incredible. And
they made up 17 positions.
The best part is majority of that racing was clean. It was NASCAR level, but it was clean. Only a couple drivers got caught out, like Aaron Cameron, who debuted this weekend, who did a phenomenal job, in my opinion.
That was not his fault.
He had a tangle with Macaulay Jones?
No, he didn't tangle with him. Macaulay dive bombed the hell out of him, and he took evasive action and got himself stuck. I've actually written down everything that's kind of happened. The Ryan Wood chaos was, I think there were about ninth, 8th place, where it was Chaz and Richie Stanaway initially battling for that position of I think it was 7th place.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then all of a sudden, down to turn 3, Ryan Wood just sends a dive bomb on both of them. Not one, both of them.
And pulls it off.
And pulled it off. But then it left Chaz and Richie in the worst possible spot. They got swamped by about, I reckon, 5 or 6 cars. That included, it actually included Waters, which was funny. But Di Pasquale, Randall, Payne, Kostecki, all those guys were in it.
Yeah.
LeBrock as well, who unfortunately got spun with a couple laps to go by Kostecki.
He's had a horrible weekend.
Oh,
Check LeBrock.
Yeah. And then the battle, so this happened at turn 3, the battle continued all the way to the second to last corner, where out of nowhere, Cooper Murray comes in. Obviously, turn 11, though, first was the Golding problem. He was one of the guys that pounced on this battle. But then he clattered the inside tyre barrier, which ruined the right front of his car. And then 2 corners later, the other Newlon car, Premier Racing car, was around because Cooper Murray just loves to send things down the inside at weird spots. That was a terrible line. But, he's very aggressive with his racing, I must say.
And he was very aggressive this week.
Very. And he took out Stanaway. Made the third to last corner 3 wide. And, it was just a disaster of a lap for
Actually, we haven't really seen a clean run from Cooper this year. Obviously, Sydney, he spun Will Davison out and then got in a tangle with Feeney.
Well, if we move over to race 2, he finished 9th.
Yeah. But then he ended up crashing out the next race.
Did he? I didn't watch race 3, sorry,
Yeah, he brought out the safety car.
That's right. Yep.
Unfortunately. But that car didn't look too bad. I quite liked that, the YTG car. But Ryan Wood was such a weapon that Thursday race. Like, how quick was he? He was charging. If it was a few more laps, he could have caught up with the field.
One person that wasn't keeping up with anybody toward the end was actually Matt Payne. That was weird. He had 4th place wrapped up, ready to go to send on Christmas Day, and then all of a sudden it just what was that? All of a sudden, just I don't know if he lost power or lost grip or tire wear or something, but he fell to 9th position within about 3 laps and stayed there.
A bit bizarre.
It was weird.
Bit bizarre.
Let's move on to race 2. Whoa.
What?
Race 2.
What?
Race 2 was whoa.
Oh, right.
Had Cam Hill and Nick Percat 1-2 for Matt Stone Racing.
Yeah. How good is that?
It was
But not only that, right? It wasn't a fluke.
No.
Right? It wasn't a fluke. Like, having a look at the results here. Cam Hill, P3, race 1. P1, second race. And race 3, where is he?
Nice.
Nick Percat in 3rd. Matt Stone Racing has been on the podium all weekend, which is incredible.
And they would have been race... I think race 4 they actually had a bad quality.
No. Well, Cam Hill was on the front row with Feeney for race 4. And he actually was in contention.
Sorry. Yeah.
He was actually in contention to win the Larry Perkins Trophy.
Yep.
And Will Brown only won it purely because the race was cancelled because he was starting 21st. So he was. That's why Feeney was so upset because that could have been his to win as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely. But yeah, going back to race 2, what a race! I was there and seeing Cam Hill got an electric start, passed Feeney at turn 1. Feeney fell down to 4th by the end of the race. Percat followed through. It was just perfectly. I don't know if they did this on purpose, but the way that Percat followed Cam Hill through at turn 3 was just chef's kiss. And then, obviously they finished ahead of the Red Bull boys, and then Heimgarten was 5th, Waters was 6th again, Kostecki 7th, Di Pasquale 8th, Murray 9th, and 10 was Mostert again. But the race wasn't as, I must say, as entertaining as the first one. It was
No.
Ryan Wood, though. There's some drama with what happened at turn 4.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, turn 4.
I think that was a fair move. That was a racing incident. Just saying.
I think
Only
he was far enough up that I do agree with, but lap 1, I don't know, could have been avoided.
Well, the thing is, right?
The Matt Stone Racing guys avoided that crash. They could have had the same thing.
Because the thing, like, it questioned. Drivers are questioning what's allowed, what's not allowed, given how Sydney happened, right? With all the bumping and running and how good it was. But Supercars seem to have been changing the rules midway through a weekend.
That's
saying, so they saw Thursday and like, oh, hang on, we can't do that. So I don't think personally that Ryan Wood deserved a penalty like that. He was up far enough. I saw the onboard that someone posted on social media.
Who was that?
Which, you know what? I'm going to talk about that. That was stupid.
Well,
because look,
why was that such a big deal?
Fence. Okay, I'm on the fence, right?
Hey, explain what happened.
Okay, so as we all know, Apex Hunters United is founded by Shane Van Gisbergen. Okay, Ryan Wood is friends with Shane Van Gisbergen, so Ryan Wood might have sent the footage to SVG, for example, and they posted it online. Now, there's a rule in Supercars that drivers and teams are not allowed to share onboard footage like that, or publicly post it. So I think that's the reason why Supercars got angry at them. That's the only logical thing I can think about. Because what Apex posted was completely fair, saying, you know, this shouldn't have been a penalty, blah blah blah. I don't think that is the issue. I think the issue was the footage posted.
Yeah, no, it was. And just the way that kind of happened. But
but the thing is, Supercars were threatening to
that part I don't
Ryan
like.
Wood a penalty.
I don't like that. Because, no offense to Ryan, unless he said go and post that, he's got nothing to do with it. Yeah, literally nothing. You know,
it would have been different if he posted it on his.
Correct.
As well.
Correct. That I would have said, fine him, whatever.
Fair game. Yeah.
But it's got nothing to do with him. And I think it's quite pathetic to threaten a driver who didn't even do anything wrong to have a penalty or whatever for the next race over a social media post. That's just ridiculous.
It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't
have happened. But then going on from that incident, which was lap 1, that we're at a safety car. Laps after the restart, turn 1, Reynolds got hit from Randall, but he was avoiding a Bryce Ford, I think it was, who sent it 3 wide at the turn 1, and then he just got taken out. And the race was only lasted 11 laps. I'm pretty sure only the first race did its full distance.
Yeah, because
race 3 did it?
Race 3 didn't either. No, there was a couple of safety cars in that one as well.
Yeah.
Which was unfortunate. But what is your...
I don't think race 1 either did go full distance.
No. Well, race 4 didn't. We know that. But let's talk about race 4, right? And that, because this was one of the fan questions we got. It's also the only one we got. So let's talk about it. What is our thoughts on the cancellation of race 7?
My thought very quickly is that if this was a Supercars event, it wouldn't have been cancelled. Because it's Formula 1, it got cancelled. That's it.
That's very well said, because I agree.
That's exactly
FIA stepped in. And we saw that with F2 as well. F2 got the same treatment, technically.
Yeah. Look, it was more wet than the F1 race. Yeah. It was more wet than the F3 race. It wasn't as wet as the F2 race.
Yeah.
Tell me about the rules, because I don't know.
So the rule is that in order for points to be awarded, the race has to complete 37%, which was 5 laps in this race. And Supercars called it at 3 laps. Probably on purpose for the sake of not having to award points for a non-race. But look, there's not much they could have done, I reckon. Maybe there was, I don't know, but if FIA are involved, I don't think there's much they could have done.
No, I agree with that part. I also think, well, yeah, what I said before, yeah, if this was a Supercars race purely, yeah, it would have been fine to go ahead, but I don't know, it's going to go, I want to have a chat later about the event, and I probably actually could do that now, because it kind of ties in with this.
Yeah.
If you allow me to.
Well, I was going to ask your thoughts as a fan's perspective being at the event. So it ties into that.
I've been to the Grand Prix. This is my fourth time being to the Grand Prix. The last 2 times were all 4 days. And obviously this time I didn't do that. And it wasn't because I couldn't. It was because I didn't want to. And the reason for it is going to an F1 event is so different in a way. Obviously it's still motorsport, still the same kind of vibe. But it's so different to a Supercars race. And not in a good way. If you are like me, Daniel, Ivan, who go there mainly for the racing, 80% of the racing, and 20% for entertainment, you're not going to enjoy the Grand Prix. Let me just purely state that out. And if you disagree with me, sorry, but the Grand Prix is a show. It's purely a show. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the gaps in between sessions... I didn't go Sunday, and I feel for people that did. Because I literally saw an F3 race, if you even got there in time, because it started at 9 a.m. Yeah, literally. And then nothing happened until 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing on track at all. My beef
No demonstrations or anything. My
beef with it is that F1... For example, the gap between the F2 practice or qualifying, I think it was practice, and the practice 1 for F1 was an hour and 45 minutes. Hour and a half. Either one. In between sessions. Of nothing happening, which for me actually worked out because I got stuck crossing a bridge for 20 minutes. However, the gaps in between the sessions are so annoying because Formula 1 want to make the event look pristine. They got to clean it up. They even repatch some paint if they have to. They'll do everything to make it look good. But as a fan, on the side of the track in your grandstand seat, which is baked in the sunlight, might I add, it's crap. Right? And there's been a lot of videos about the way that the track obviously performed in the wet. Sorry, not the track, but the precinct performed in the wet. There was mud. It was really crap. There was no elegance to it because everything was just destroyed, been wet. Obviously, it's a temporary circuit. You're going to have these things, right? If Adelaide 500 or, Townsville race was rain-washed, I'm pretty sure it'd be the same situation. It's just the nature of the event. And the fact it's in a park, right? If SMP got washed out, it wouldn't have the same effect as this would.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my kind of rant of the fact of going there for the racing is not what you think it is. Versus a supercar event where they just pump out support categories like no tomorrow. But the reason I'm saying this is because this is the reason why supercars didn't race. They were so worried about the event. I'm assuming, this is all assumptions by the way, but as a fan that's gone to the event, you can kind of get the vibe that all they cared about was making sure that it was okay for more important events. And it sucks for supercars because obviously being Australian, I actually prefer watching supercars than Formula 1, personally. Not everyone's like that. But obviously the stuff we saw in Race 1, you can see why.
Yeah.
And I actually think if F1 could afford to do these rounds without any support categories, they probably would.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't think they like support categories at all, but they have to do it because of entertainment. Oh, the tickets be worth nothing.
yeah.
That's my little rant. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Well, I will.
Because it all ties in with what happened on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was going to ask, because I saw things on social media, on TikTok about how the ticket thing was managed, to the fact that there was no shades at all on the grandstand, and also there was this giant oval that had no shade or anything like that whatsoever.
The oval.
Yeah, there was some, I don't know, some massive grass patch that was just, everyone was baking. But
Yeah.
so that's why I wanted to ask about what was it like as a fan to go there this weekend,
So
and what they should do next year or in the future.
the argument about the shade, they can't ever lose that argument because there are shaded seats if you're willing to pay the $700-800 price tag for it. There isn't much shade around the precinct unless you're on the outside of maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 corners. There's quite a lot of shade, and in the middle, inside of turn 10, 11, 12, I'd say. There's a lot of shade. But apart from that, no, they're right, there is no shade. Also, pricing for things is just ridiculous. Look, it's an F1 event, I understand, but you're going to charge $120 for a hat? Ferrari? No, I can't do it. It's just ridiculous. And the fact that my seat for one day cost $140 and a hat costs $120, that's ridiculous. It's so insane.
That is crazy.
It's ridiculous. And like I saw there were a lot of efforts for this Grand Prix to improve maneuverability around the area, which to some degree did help. But I don't know what happened. In between F2 qualifying and F1 practice 1, where was I? I was on the inside of the track, just inside turn 1, and I wanted to cross the bridge to go to my seat on the main straight. That took 20 minutes. And the issue with Albert Park is that they have I was telling you this on the phone because I had to rant to someone. So you're gonna hear this again, sorry. But
That's all right.
the track has underpasses. They go underneath turn 1 and just before turn 1 on the main straight, and then also they have another one that's at the last corner. In between the last corner and the second to last corner, there's an underpass.
Yeah, okay.
That one doesn't get used as much because there's less things over there. Whereas the middle is clogged, full of activities.
Yeah.
So not only are the drivers coming in for the Melbourne Walk, which is still the greatest thing ever, which I've never gone to bother seeing because it's packed.
I literally have panic attacks watching those videos.
Yeah, it's crazy.
People sprinting. Like,
and the worst part is
anything worse.
The worst part is they get there at 4 a.m. to line up.
Yeah,
that's the worst part.
I can't think of anything worse.
No.
As much as I love the drivers and want to meet them, just my anxiety, I just can't do that.
No, it's crazy. And credit to those who did. So there's that issue, but then also the problem is they've put crossing walks after those bridges for people to cross at. When I say cross, I mean stand still for 15 minutes because it's so full of cars coming in and out. So I think if Albert Park organisation somehow... Now, I know that they just announced they're getting a building upgrade. They're going to start the new pavilion, which I don't know how this is going to work because they said after the 2026 Grand Prix they're going to demolish the main building and then start building in 2020, well, just late 2026 for 2027 to be ready for 2028. So I don't know what the pit pavilion in 2027 is going to look like. Is it just going to be scaffolding. Like, I don't understand.
Because I wanted to ask your thoughts on this, because I will make this part a separate video, sort of as well. So like, it's just going to be a segment from this episode, so people can check it out. But it's really, I've heard good things and bad things about the weekend, and I've only ever been to the 500, the Bend, and the Motorsport Festival. That's really the closest thing I've been to motorsport. In terms of big events.
Yep.
And Adelaide 522, when there was no shade, I that's
Similar.
the closest thing I've gotten to that.
Yep.
Whereas like going back last year with you, it was really well done. So I just think, from what I've heard, obviously I've never been to the Grand Prix myself. Hopefully that can change next year. There's some improvements need to be made.
Yeah, the problem also is that Albert Park, on a day-to-day basis, is a driving range. There's tennis courts, there's cricket ovals, there's basketball courts. It's full of entertainment. There's athletics there as well. Like, the whole, if you look at the track map, the whole pretty much from outside of turn 1 to all the way exit of turn 4 is all buildings and all private companies. They don't use that at all for the Grand Prix. So that part's an issue. Well, not really an issue, but something they can't fix. That just can't get resolved. I think they much need to utilize the right side of the track a little bit more. Like I said before, maybe build. The problem with these bridges is they're also one way. These tunnels. So you can't have cars.
That's annoying.
Can't have cars coming in and out. I've just done the thumbs up thing again. Damn it.
No, you've done thumbs down. You've done
sorry.
thumbs down.
You can't
Shit's gone real here.
This is how much I don't like the Grand Prix. No, I'm joking.
Take that back.
Exactly.
We love you, Grand Prix.
Maybe if they can make these tunnels two-way, that might improve things. I don't know. I really don't know. People with more interesting jobs will have to work this out. There was a point you're about to ask me there, which was I've lost it now. What were you about to ask me?
No, I don't even know.
Oh crap. Yeah. No, we'll figure it out. Continue.
We'll work it out. But yeah, if you went to the Grand Prix this weekend, let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you agree with Alex, or you share different thoughts and opinions, or maybe there's something that Alex hasn't said yet that you want to talk about. So let us know in the comments below about that. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Well done, Alex.
I remembered one more thing.
Yes.
I want to give some credit, though. Because the Supercar paddock and the Porsche Carrera Cup paddock was great. Thumbs up to them for them.
Well,
whoa!
You got to hold a truck. What?
I've done more.
What are you doing, bro?
Discord's just making me do fireworks.
No, this is just you.
That's just me, apparently. It doesn't like me. It doesn't like the effects for you. Oh my god, I'm trying to get comfortable while we record. Yeah, so the paddock was really easily accessible, plenty of room. The only kind of crappy part was it took forever for the cars to get out on track. But that was hinted by the F3 cars not driving straight. Yeah, no, they smashed the supercar paddock out of the park.
Well,
and I also liked the podium. The makeshift podium.
How's the podium?
So usually, when supercars do the on-the-truck kind of podiums that they have in Darwin and they're literally on the floor, basically. This was on top of the truck. So, quite clever. I'm just going to mute myself for a sec because the truck going past. I am, I'm all good. It was really good. It was really immersive with the crowd. I was pretty much standing underneath the podium for when Cam Hill won. So that was pretty cool. Get to go really close to the media for their interviews. The cars were right there. That was a really good setup. I'm very impressed with how they dealt with the supercar and Porsche paddocks. I didn't actually see the Porsches come out, unfortunately. But supercars they nailed that one.
Well, you got to hold a trophy too, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, that was unexpected. Dado from Red Bull Empor Racing was giving fans the opportunity was bright and early, literally 8:45 in the morning. He must have been the only one there, and he was like, "Oh, I'm bored, so I'll just give fans to get the opportunity to hold the trophy." So I took a selfie with the race 1 winning trophy of Brock Feeney's, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice. And now they're already on their way to New Zealand.
Yes.
The cars have been shipped today, probably, I think.
Yep.
They've been in their containers. So that's exciting. I'm excited to see that race again. It was really cool last year, so bring that on.
Yeah.
Let's... is there anything you want to talk about before we go to the States? Go overseas?
No, just chips on a stick should not be $15, but that's about it.
Words of wisdom to live by.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of words of wisdom, Leclerc's radio.
That was funny. Have
That
you
was
seen
incredible.
a meme of the cockpit that's full of water? It's like a pool. Yeah, that's funny.
Have you? Yeah, with the rubber duck.
Yeah,
That was a video. Yeah, that was incredible.
that's a good one.
That was good. Anyway, let's go to Argentina for MotoGP. We'll briefly gloss over this. We didn't really, I didn't really see much of this, but another Marquez domination from both the brothers, actually.
Yeah.
But this time, Bagnaia wasn't on the podium. He was there on the sprint one, but not for the main race. It was actually Morbidelli
Correct.
on the podium
Yeah,
this
it
time
was,
around. So,
it was
not what I expected.
It was a weird round. There was even Honda on the front row of the grid, so just mind boggles of that.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it was a very odd weekend. I'm just trying to see if there's any other weird things that came up. A lot of Hondas in the top 10 of this race. There was 3 in the Grand Prix finishing top 10. Both, what are they called now? Castro Honda factory team. Both of them in the top 10.
Yeah.
There were 2 KTMs in the top 10. And then, yeah, obviously still was a Ducati whitewash with Marc Marquez just destroying everyone. Pole position, sprint, win. He leads the championship with 74 points ahead of his brother with 58 points. Although Franco Morbidelli finished on the podium, which
Yeah,
was,
he did really well.
Yeah, a bit shocking considering Bagnaia was probably the 3rd place favourite. None of us got the 3rd place correctly in our predictions.
Yeah. We will talk about the predictions, by the way, at the end of NASCAR. And explain what we're doing.
Yeah, we'll do that later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But, yeah, Fabio Di Giannantonio finished 5th. Johan Zarco was 6th. Brad Binder was 7th ahead of Acosta in 8th. And then, yeah, like I said before, the Hondas, Joan Mir and Marini were 9th and 10th. And then the Rins was the leader for Yamaha in 12th place. Vinales finally had a not bad result on the KTM, was in 12th. Jack Miller was 13th, Quadraro 20th, and Fernandez ran out the points in the Grand Prix. So now, like, Bagnaia is 31 points behind Marquez already. And he's 15 points behind Alex Marquez.
Didn't Ivan say something about he wants to switch back to last year's bike?
Apparently, yeah. Yeah, apparently there's a rumour going around that Bagnaia is sick of the new bike already and wants to go back to last year's. It's crazy to think that you can even just do that, but whatever.
But it's amazing that he's struggling, yet Marquez is blooming.
Well, I guess Marquez hasn't lost his touch.
And what's the amazing thing is, I go back to last year when it was 1,000+ days since he last won a race. Wins a race and hasn't stopped since.
Yeah.
It's rather cool. And there was also, I think, a rumor floating around that. Oh no, not a rumor. I think one of the riders was it Morbidelli?
No, it was Benzecchi.
Benzecchi was demanding MotoGP to investigate the Ducati, which is a little bit of fun.
Which is funny because he was on one. Just saying. Then he's gone to Aprilia where they've just fallen off a cliff. Martin still hasn't. He's now been ruled out of the Americas Grand Prix, I believe, too.
And the remainder of the championship hunt, because there's no way he's not going to come back from this. To be honest with you,
God no. It'll just be nice to see him on a new bike, and then hopefully next year will be good to go. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Argentina. I think they're at Austin next, which would be. We didn't see if Marquez can dominate that because it's a bit of a different track. So
It'll be very interesting. But speaking of Austin, let's head a little bit over to Las Vegas
yeah,
for NASCAR. So Josh Berry won that one, and for NASCAR standards, it was a pretty decent gap.
yeah, definitely. You don't really see a gap where you have to wait for the next car to finish. Who was Daniel Suarez, by the way, in second, and Ryan Preece was in third. He's improved quite dramatically over the last couple of rounds. Will Byron was fourth, Ross Chastain fifth, Austin Cindric sixth. Seventh was Alex Bowman, AJ Allmendinger was eighth, Kyle Larson ninth, and Chase Elliott 10th. I want to quickly, while I have these results up, go and find Shane Van Gisbergen, who, let's just say he had a day. Not a.
Do you know what
one.
I'm sick of hearing?
He finished 34th.
I'm sick of hearing how much bad luck he has.
Well, unfortunately, Daniel, it's true.
It is true, and it's annoying because it's the same old saying, "Oh, he got caught in this, caught in that," which is true. Like normally it's an excuse, but it's generally true. He has genuinely been caught in other people's tangles and mishaps.
Yeah.
Did he ever spin by himself this time around, or
he had a few? He had a few. I've written it down. So he was 72 laps behind, which is hard. On lap 108, he had a spin, and then on lap 127, he lost a wheel. So
nice.
Went through the ringers of that one there, unfortunately.
Just a little bit. But it's also his first weekend with the Red Bull colours.
Yeah, it didn't go very well though, did it?
No.
Maybe you should ditch those for some better ones. Anyway.
Well, you weren't a fan anyway, were you? You weren't a
crap.
fan of their livery.
Looks so cheap. Obviously, we still had the Stage 1 and Stage 2 results, which affect the championship. Austin Cindric won Stage 1. Kyle Larson won Stage 2. I don't know why, but there were a lot of tyre failures and falling off of tyres. Literally.
So it's Phillip Holland all over again.
Weirdly, yeah, it was... I counted, I think, 4? 5 wheel failures? I'm not. Only one of them was a puncture. The rest just literally fell off. A couple of them caused by pit stops not going well. I want to quickly shout out to Christopher Bell, who was the championship leader, not anymore. He's lost it to Will Byron at the moment. But during his pit stop, the team recognised that the front left tyre was not on tight enough. And obviously, if a wheel falls off on the track, you get penalised, blah, blah, blah. So what they decided to do is, while he was still in the pit lane, because the pit lane order is obviously based off qualifying. So what happened was he was starting quite far back. When he left the pit box, the crew chief told his teammates' crew chief, which was Chase Briscoe, and then Will Byron. Christopher Bell actually stopped in the 19 car pit box, and then the team from there tightened up his wheels.
Yeah.
So he still got a penalty for it, but it was just much more safer than the wheel falling off on the track. So that was
you don't want that.
It was quite interesting. That actually happened to a few drivers. It happened to Kyle Busch, happened to SVG. And it happened to someone else, I believe, too.
Speaking of Kyle Busch, I just love seeing traditions of him not finishing a race really well.
Yeah, no. Yeah. The Wood brothers, Josh Berry, great stories. His first Cup win. That car and team haven't been very successful. They did win, not the Daytona 500, but the other Daytona race. Later in the year with what's his name, Harrison Burton. That was his first and only win. Now he's not even in the series anymore, which is a bit crappy. There was only one major big crash, which was on lap 195, which involved Gregson, Wallace, Blaney, Jones, Dillon. Madhouse crash. But yeah, the field will move next week. I think it's next week or the week after. I think they're going at Martinsville. I think. Let me just triple check that.
Nice little short track.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
Sorry, no, Miami, then Martinsville.
Never mind.
So yeah, then actually no, they don't have a week off. No, when's their first week off? Jesus.
No.
Well, let's just say I'm in June and they haven't had one yet.
Yeah, at the moment it's never. No, I don't think they ever have one ever again.
Wait, seriously?
I'm generally actually that was a joke. I'm actually serious.
I don't think they do. Oh my god, they
not
don't.
Not even playoffs. They gone straight into them.
Oh my god, they actually don't. Oh, hang on. No, wait. Sorry, no. There's one. The April 20th weekend, they have nothing.
How did we skip all of that?
Oh, I was going to say, there's like a break somewhere.
Yeah, one break in 52 weeks.
In between Bristol and Talladega.
Yeah, that's crazy. But hey, that's NASCAR. That's why everyone loves it. Because you go there to race, you don't go there to look at the cars in a museum. So there you go.
But yeah, interesting that Christopher Bell has lost the championship lead for the moment. To Will Byron. I guess Will Byron has just been more consistent than Christopher has, considering Christopher's won 3 races out of 5. So
how consistent do you have to be?
Well, if you finish top 10, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Is that all for the NASCAR? Very good. So now I want to talk about a really cool thing that we've been doing. It's the LTM predictions.
Yes.
Or the LTM prediction championship, I guess.
Yep.
Where us three, Yvonne, Alex, and myself, go head to head throughout the year with predictions. You'll see it on social media where we post our predictions with Formula One and MotoGP. It will mainly just be those two.
I think we're going to add
probably.
Supercars.
Oh, we're going to add Supercars. This championship's over. Alex is going to win.
We're a very Supercars-based organisation. We just add rules as we go along.
Unless we do we'll work it. We are Supercars. We are. Rules as exactly. We go. So there we go.
I'll change the rules. No, you don't get 3 points. You get 2. No, whatever.
Yeah.
Just change the rules.
Yeah, there you go. So basically we've been doing top 3. So first place gets 3 points. If you guess if you guess the winner correctly, you get 3 points. Second place, blah blah blah, 2 and 1. At the moment, as it stands, you and Ivan are tying with 8 points.
Yes.
And I've got 7.
Yes.
All because I chose to split the Marquez brothers.
Yeah, you did.
And that was dumb. So
well,
we all would have been on the same.
I almost lost more because I almost put Alex to win, so I would have lost heaps if I did that. But Ivan got the Verstappen. He got both qualifying and race correct for Verstappen. I got
Verstappen. I got Verstappen right in qualifying with P3.
Yep.
And then in the race, I got Norris.
I got nothing.
You got nothing. You got nothing.
Completely nothing.
If poor Ivan was hoping Hamilton would win. It got really close until they didn't pit.
Yeah. He was optimistic. We found out that night that Ferrari put on a wet setup for the dry qualifying, and you got really excited. Yeah. But it didn't end up going that way.
Didn't work anyway.
I'm very sure that he'll put Hamilton in the top 3 again this week. I might too.
Definitely P1.
Yeah.
I am not saying anything.
No, neither am I.
Mind game, sir.
Yes, exactly. But now, fun little initiative that we're doing here.
It's a really cool thing, yeah.
And then we can compare. So we'll post them before a session starts on social media, and then you guys can chuck in your predictions and compare if you're better than us at predicting.
Yeah, live editing, live chat. What if we, because we have got talks of things to do in the future. Maybe, we've seen people do patrons and stuff like that. What if, right, we get fans involved in their own prediction championship as well? This is just this is off air chit chat that
we're changing the rules again, like Supercars.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and then the winner will get a merch piece of some sort.
There we go. We've don't quote us on that until we actually do something. But that would be a cool thing if you guys are interested. If you guys are interested, be sure to subscribe and like and follow and hit the ding dong bell so you get notified every time we do something, because it would be really cool to see. You know, it would be cool, some friendly competition with a prize at the end. We'll have to work that out between ourselves, but it'll be fun. But let us know in the comments if you would love to do something like that. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see how our fight is going to happen. Who will be the world champion?
Who will be the champion? Yes. Or we could have a tie. We could have a three-way tie. Could have a cars moment. We'll just do a one race at the end.
Yeah.
And the tongue to finish.
Yeah.
I think that's it, man.
Look bad. Oh yeah, no. Overall, fantastic weekend. I'm keen for this weekend.
The action does not stop.
China. No, it doesn't, and I'm excited for that.
Indy Supercars.
Yes,
and
Indies. Oh, Supercars aren't on.
Oh, sorry, Indy NASCAR's what I meant to say. Indy NASCAR.
Yeah, no. You forgot that Supercars only race once a month.
They're racing 2 weeks, man.
Well, yeah, but they're not racing until the 13th now. So.
Oh shit! Yeah, right. My bad.
They've got 28 days or so until Taupo.
Why do the cars get shipped so early then?
No idea.
Whatever.
No
must
idea.
take a while.
That's why this pod's really gone stale. That's why DJR did their livery change.
That's so
at Melbourne.
Oh, they changed it at Melbourne.
Yeah. On Sunday they actually put the stickers on.
Oh my god! Wow. Okay.
Which was amazing. So there you go.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But overall, what a weekend. Thanks for joining me once again, Alex. For the pod. As always, hopefully Ivan's with us next week.
Yep.
But wait, is MotoGP this weekend?
No.
No, okay, so they have a week off. That's all right. But yeah, let us know in the comments your thoughts on the weekend, yada yada yada. As I said, subscribe and do all that fun stuff. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time in the podcasts.
Sounds
Bye
good.
for now.
Bye.